Yes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our May Council evening session. Today is Wednesday, the 13th. The time is now 6:11 p.m. Hereby call this meeting to order. Reminder, please silence your phones. And if you need to take a call, we kindly ask that you step outside to maintain a respectful atmosphere. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicole Reynoso.
Present.
Councilwoman Maureen Porras.
Here.
Councilman Rafael Pinedo.
Present.
Vice Mayor Digna Cabral is not present. Mayor Christy Fraga.
Present.
Mayor have quorum.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Pinedo. All right, I don't believe there's any changes to the agenda order of business. I know that earlier today we pulled off item 20D.
Correct.
It was deferred to the next council meeting in June. We'll move into public comments. All right, we will now open the public comments portion of this meeting. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak and address any issue on this agenda or any matter related to the city of Doral. Please begin by stating your name and address for the record to ensure that you are registered with the city clerk. We will first hear from those who are pre-registered to speak, followed by any walk-in speakers. Once all the pre-registered speakers have spoken, I will make a final announcement for any walk-in speakers. As a reminder, in accordance with City Code of Conduct, we ask that all your remarks be made in a respectful, courteous, and orderly manner. Personal attacks, offensive language, and disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. And we ask that you please adhere to these policies so we can work together to keep this forum productive and constructive for all. We will go ahead and start with Antonio Carballo.
Thank you. Good evening, Antonio Carballo, 9755 Northwest 52nd Street, apartment 413. And I'm not sure where the item is on the agenda, but I got the email regarding the homeowners association, and I just wanted to shed some light on that. With my own example, when I moved into that condo, sold the big house, my wife and I moved into the condo, we were paying $450 on association dues. We're up to $1,093. Another $117 a special assessment, which is going to go on for 7 years. Our community, if you're familiar with Doral Oaks, the village is Doral Oaks, there's townhomes and there's 4 buildings. These buildings, the oldest one, some of those residents have gotten on the bigger apartments, have gotten hit with $58,000. So that erodes any equity, that kind of limits you from selling. Nobody's going to buy when this situation is going on. And my thing is to vent a little bit, and then, we are very different from the awful incidents in Surfside. We don't have underground parking. We're not by the ocean. We only have 5 stories. We're not a 12-story building. But in our unit, aside from where I'm paying, the structural integrity report said that we have to replace the facade of that whole building, and we have 5 years to do it. So I'm looking at more expenses. And just the fact that I give that knowledge to all of you, it might be of help, but I think starting that committee that you're starting with the homeowners having to deal with, or issues with dealing with the condos, it's a great idea, and I thank you for that. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. We moved on to, the only thing it says is Giovu? It only says Giovu, Jovu. Okay, sorry. That's all it says on the registration.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor and Council members, and thank for Councilwoman for bringing forward this important initiative. My name is Giovanna Souza, as I mentioned. I am here today in support of the proposal Condominium and HOA Advisory Board of the City of Doral. This initiative is both timely Unnecessary because condominiums and HOAs communities are no longer a small portion of our city. They represent a significant part of how Doral lives, operates, and grows. Thousands of residents depend every day on the decision made between these associations. These decisions impact not only finances and property maintenance, but also quality of life, community stability, and long-term property values. However, many associations today face increasingly complex challenges. Boards are often made up of volunteer residents who are expected to navigate financial responsibilities, legal obligations, operational decisions, budgeting, vendor relationship, reserve planning, collections, and governance matters, often without access to sufficient guidance, education, or practical resources. At the same time, homeowners frequently struggle to understand processes, access to information, or effectively participate in the communities where they live. This can create confusion, lack of transparency, frustration, and avoidable conflict between associations. That is why this initiative is so important. The creation of an advisory board could provide an opportunity to the city to support communities through education, shared resources, best practices, and constructive communication regarding recurrent challenges affecting condominiums and HOAs across Doral. I want to emphasize something very important. This proposal is not about interference in the autonomy of associations, nor replacing the authority of boards or management companies. It's about strengthening communities through knowledge, guidance, and access to better tools. Strong communities, a strong association create a strong neighborhood. Strong neighborhoods create a strong city. An initiative like this can help promote better governance, more informed decision-making, greater accountability, and healthier communication between stakeholders. It can also help identify recurring patterns and trends affecting multiple communities, allowing the city to better understand the evolving needs to
Thank
its
you, Ms.
residents and advocates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, Odel Torres? Yeah.
Madam Mayor, council members, and staff, saludos y buenas noches. My name is Odel Torres, one of 250 Northwest 66th Street, president of Landmark at Doral, HOA, president of Landmark at Doral Condo Association, and chair of the Landmark at Doral CDD. For the record, I have over 40 years working on HOAs, COAs, and CDDs. I'm here tonight to support the possibility of the creation of a city of Doral Condominium Homeowners Association Advisory Board, item number 19 alpha. The city of Doral is composed mostly of HOAs, COAs, and rental units. We have folks that are the voting elements of this city. It is time to have a voice in the city government. I want to provide a bit of a history that some of you may not be aware of. Doral is a city today thanks to the HOAs and COAs that were the first created in the Doral area, thanks to the vision of our founder father, Mr. Morgan Levy, and the West Day Federation that he created, united all the HOAs and COAs to work as a team to help with the creation of the city. Unfortunately, once the city was created, we lost the links of all the HOAs, COAs, and CDDs, and now we are all working as independent mini-cities. Yes, we share some differences, but we also share many common elements since the Florida statutes, chapters 190, 719, and 720, are the law of the land, and we all must follow. One of my biggest concerns is that while the COAs have the DVPR to help with some of their problems, however, the HOA do not have a place where we can go to complain or look for guidance. I'm fully aware that the city cannot interfere with our covenants and rules, but by the creating the advisory board, it may become the voice that we need at the city and the state level. Finally, I would like to recommend a friendly amendment to the council to please include the Community Development District as well in this proposal, since they all go hand in hand with the HOAs. Thanks for the opportunity, and if the proposal moves forward, I would love to throw my name in the hat and become one active member. Thanks again.
Okay, final person who's registered, Cesar Abarca.
Hi, good evening. My name is Cesar. I have been in this desk in the past. Now I am going to start working on this because this initiative really is very good and I personally fully support it. I remember that you organized here a meeting that invite the community in order to understand the problems that we are facing regarding the homeowner association, okay? I would like to give you a couple of data so you can understand. No, I know that you understand, so you can be aware of some statistics that can help us to understand the size of the problem, okay? Yes, I will start saying that Miami-Dade is the city with the highest problem regarding homeowner association problems, all right? This is the number one. The number two is Broward, and the number three is Palm Beach, you know? Los costos, the costing in Miami-Dade is very high, in Broward are high, and the financial risks are very high in the case of the Miami-Dade, as well the participation is very high regarding the problems that we're going to talk about. So in this context, the homeowner association in the area are characterized by a lot of violation of the rules. Among those violations, I would like to mention illegal fine to the resident. You know, it's estimated in about 30% of the total expense of the total violation. The second one is a lack of transparency. That is very key. And the third one is I would call it a spurial election. That means that the election normally, you know, are taken for a few group of citizens. Consequently, there is no a real quorum that can legitimate that election, you know. So this is the just 3 or 4 most important violations that are happening in the environment, you know. So now I would like to comment on the election, you know. Elections are related to the concept of legitimacy. If an election is not supported by the right quorum, the election is not legitimate.
Thank you, Mr. Abarca. Unfortunately, we only have 3 minutes, and
Okay.
we can't go over that. There's currently a lawsuit going on in different cities that if we allow any
Correct.
additional time,
Correct, yeah.
have to,
I just want to close quickly, so in order
I
not to
can't
take.
allow any 1 minute, I can't allow 1 second over 3 minutes anymore. I'm sorry.
All right, well, anyway, thank
you,
you very
Mr.
much.
Abarca.
I appreciate
Thank you.
your
I'm
attention.
sorry. We have to protect the city. Thank you so much. Is there any additional speakers at this time? Being none? Okay, public comments is now closed. All right, Madam Clerk, we move on.
Item 19A, discussion creating of City of Doral Condominium and Homeowners Association Advisory Board. This was deferred from the April 8th council meeting.
Okay, Councilwoman Porras, this is your item.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to start off by saying thank you to all the residents that are here. I know that there's a lot of residents that called, emailed, and that are probably watching too that couldn't make it to the meeting. So thank you for your time. And for those of you that spoke today, I want to thank you as well. As you guys know, this is a discussion on the creation of a City of Doral Condo and Homeowners Association Advisory Board. We probably, the majority of us, I think it's more than 80% of us, live in one of those condo HOA communities. So this is a topic that's extremely important to the city and extremely important to the residents. Something that I think everyone here knows, because I've had conversations with all of you, I've had conversations with different folks too that have reached out. The city, and we all understand, does not have authority, right, over the internal happenings or governance of these associations. But I still believe that the city can play a very meaningful role in making sure that our residents and board members are educated, that they have access to tools and resources, and that we are connected. And so the purpose of this board is very limited. I've had discussions with the attorney before on, obviously our jurisdiction over this. And so that's why I decided to, one, turn this into a discussion and also make sure that it was understood that the purpose is focused and limited in helping in three things, I would say. One is helping identify legislative priorities where the city can advocate at the state level. And that's something that we as a council, we do every year. We've seen different pieces of legislations pass, go through some of our elected officials. And so it's something that at the city level we can do and we have been doing for several years. The second thing would be to support educational initiatives such as community workshops for residents and board members, because this is something that it's not just about coming in and learning, what your rights are as homeowners, but it's also helping give the tools and guidance and really offer best practices for those that are part of the board right now. This is a collaborative work between residents and board members so that governance can be better. And what better way to do it than together, right? We, as a community, I would like to see the city help create an annual HOA condo workshop. As I've done it as part of my office, as an individual councilwoman's office with attorneys, organizations, where we've had different attorneys come and talk about frequently asked questions, rights, responsibilities, and we've done those workshops. I know that some of my colleagues here have also done those workshops with legislators, with DBPR, with different entities that really have a big role in HOAs and condos. And so what I envisioned was having the city have a stake in it as well, where this board could put on that workshop together, right? Currently we have, I believe it's about 10 different advisory boards, and each of them usually put on a yearly event. Like, for example, we're having a women's event this year that's being, again, supported by the city. There is a college fair that's being put on by our youth advisory board that, again, is also supported by the city. And so it would be very similar to that, and I think that's something that would be a benefit to the community. And then lastly, I think it would be a great way to communicate, right? To really strengthen communication between, again, residents and board members and associations and the city of Doral. I've spoken to some of you that would also like that to strengthen that communication when it comes time to requesting a permit, asking questions. I think it would be a great way to, again, connect directly with the city. And I just want to reiterate that this proposal is not intended to create additional regulations or interfere with association boards. It's not our job as a city. And we've said this many, many times, but rather help strengthen awareness, education, engagement, and access to information for our community. So with that, I'll finish by saying that there's other cities like Hialeah who have started really getting involved and having a bigger stake in what happens at the HOA condo level in our communities. They're doing something a little bit different, but again, this is limited to being an advisory board that can help strengthen that education and access to resources for everyone. I live in an association as well. So with that, again, I'm hoping that we can have a good discussion on it, and hopefully maybe if we agree, we can eventually bring something back to the council to formalize the advisory board. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So I'd like to make a couple of comments and to clarify a couple things as we have this discussion. First, Cesar, I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but there's a lawsuit going around in different cities that if you don't give everybody a certain amount of time, even if I was to give you an extra 5, 6, 7 seconds, a minute, we could be sued because everybody didn't get that opportunity, or I would have to open it up all again. So I'm sorry that I had to cut you off, but I have strict orders to do that, so I apologize. So I just wanted to clarify. So I know that this is an issue that has really affected many of us. All of us live in associations. I think most of Doral is under associations for the exception of Vanderbilt Park. So I understand that this is an issue that truly impacts families. It's something that I've taken, a big priority on and role on. I want to first talk about a couple of things that we are already doing as a city. And then I'm going to really propose something that creates real results. Because while having an advisory board, and let me explain a little bit about our advisory boards. We have several advisory boards, and our dear clerk can attest to this, and I know she has a big job. Her team actually manages the advisory boards, and we're actually reviewing and revamping our advisory boards because we haven't had a lot of success. These advisory boards are volunteer-based, and what happens is these volunteers get a little frustrated because not enough happens, they don't get quorum, they can't meet, everybody's working, some people can't do nighttime, some people can't do morning, so we should set up these meetings, they don't show up, the public comes, no one's there, it's very difficult because it's volunteer-based. And so the last thing I want to do, and I think any of us wants to do, is give a false expectation to anyone that this advisory board that's made up of same people like you that have the same concerns and the same issues are going to resolve them for you, or are going to take these complaints, and then what's going to happen? So I want to provide you something that really has results, because I think that's what we're all here for, is solutions and results-driven, proposals, all right? Because, we can all contemplate what we can get done. So first, in 2024, we set up a fraud unit. It's an economics frauds unit at the police department. Okay, there's a person dedicated to that. If any of you have a complaint or a real case of fraud that you have detected in your association, our police department is there. The person will meet with you, will take all the information down, and they will pursue it if there is a true case. Now, we won't go and do the public records requests for you, from your association, all that. We are limited to that, to certain authority there. But we can pursue fraud cases, 100%. So I encourage anyone who has a case that they truly feel that there has been wrongdoings and fraud and theft, and you have that documentation, sit with our police department, take it to them. They are here for that. Second, I have been hosting an event every year for the past 4 years where the DPPR is present, the Economic Crimes Unit from the county is present, the state attorney's office is present, our state representatives are present. I stream it live. I bring attorneys from all different specifications and fields that relate to HOAs, elections, fraud, assessments, fees, and they give free legal advice. We're there for an entire day. We've had hundreds of participants, not just for this city. I get people from Broward, from the beach. This is something I do every year in September. We do it after the legislative session so we can inform people on what changes have taken place in the legislation. It's unfortunate to say we get a lot of attendees, but we just don't get enough for how many HOAs we have in this city. So that's a prime example of one day a year that we provide all these resources, and unfortunately, not enough people come. And by the way, they are online. They're all recorded. They're on my YouTube. You can absolutely, and the city partakes in them. So we do this already. This is something that the city and my office has been doing. Every individual council member can do it, their own stuff as well, but this is something that's been consistent every year for the past 4 years that we've done. DBPR participates, all of that. So those are things that truly do provide opportunities for residents to engage with the right people, with the people who make the decisions, the legislators, the ones who are truly going to make this a priority in Tallahassee. We are up in Tallahassee every year. We went twice this year. I'll be back there soon for special session, talking to legislators. We have lobbyists that we pay. We make this a priority in our legislative priorities every year. Unfortunately, Tallahassee has not acted enough, even though they've made stronger changes to the laws to enforce misdoing, wrongdoings and fraud and the elections and everything. So that's something that they are trying to fix, but it's out of our hands. It's something that happens in Tallahassee. And it's unfortunate. One of the things that I've advocated for years is that they create some type of fund so that if there is an issue, residents can tap into that fund. You have association managers who are licensed individuals that you can also pursue complaints and things through the DBPR. Unfortunately, DBPR just doesn't have enough funding to, really pursue some of these cases. But those are all Tallahassee issues that we need to, as a city, be more aggressive on. One of the things I proposed last year is to get a bus, 2 buses. I'm happy to have the city organize it, we'll pay for it, and we get 2 buses of residents up to Tallahassee to go lobby for changes, real changes. Let's do it. I'm all in. I think that that's something that we can really make an impact for. So those are real things that we can do to help our residents find true relief on these matters. Because otherwise, we're just gonna continue to spin our wheels as residents complaining to each other. And that's not gonna fix the problem. We need to find the real solution. Additionally, I've been talking, and I'm going to 2 things that we're gonna be doing next. I've been talking to our supervisor of elections. One of the things we're trying to set up right now is that these elections, you as homeowners can ask the elections department to supervise the elections of your associations. So we're gonna set up a task force from the elections department. The elections department, you can request through the elections department. There may be a fee, but the elections department will oversee the elections of your HOAs and condos. I'm currently working with Alina Garcia on that proposal, and we're gonna make an announcement on it. So we're working with her office to assist in that. The second thing that we're gonna start doing, that actually an email will go out right after this meeting, on June 9th, we will have another constituent service day. We have now gotten the DBPR to agree to be once a month in this building. So they will be here available to hear from you once a month, the DBPR with constituent services. You can come and you can speak directly to them. I cannot promise you that they're gonna solve your problem. Unfortunately, again, they don't answer to us, they answer to Tallahassee, but at least there'll be direct access to them here in City Hall once a month. And we'll be putting that out directly through the constituent services office, which works under us, mayor and council. So we're gonna be putting that out immediately. I know there was conversations about CDDs. Those are even worse because I've been advocating for that to be completely rehauled and repealed at the state. I've said here, we will not approve I will not vote for one more CDD in our city because I think that it's, horrible management of how, not all of them, but many of them, unfortunately, it's horrible management. I think that we're better served using that. Some people think that money goes to the city of Doral. It doesn't. It's administered just like an HOA or a condo. So I think that needs huge legislative amendments and overhaul or completely repealed. So we are working on these things actively in Tallahassee to really provide relief to our residents. What I would like to say, and again, we're gonna keep doing all this. The HOA event, we're working on ours again for September. Starting June, you're gonna have the DBPR here every month with the constituent service to be able to come talk to. So I don't believe that an advisory board is the right answer. I think it's giving you false hope and expectation. And I think those residents, unfortunately, are just gonna grow frustrated. They don't have the expertise either, not to offend anyone, but it's a very complex situation. They're gonna turn to us and ask us to solve the problem for them. And unfortunately, we just do not have that authority. However, here's what I do wanna do. I wanna place a motion to ask our city attorney to look into requiring HOAs and condos to register and potentially charge an extra fee or a BTR for HOAs and condos to create a fund that will help investigate and provide relief on complaints to residents if these HOAs are found guilty of fraud. So that would create a registry and a fund within the city to allow us to pay for a misdoing or an investigation if we were to find one. I don't know if we have the authority to particularly do that, but I want the city attorney and the manager to look into that. And that way, when we come back and have this discussion, we have it based on something that really does result in a solution for you all. Because truthfully, I don't think the answer is in a group of volunteer residents. As much as I love you all, and I think you do a great job when you come here and you give your time, but we're all suffering from this issue. So let's find a solution and propose things that truly have answers. So that would be my motion. If I get support for that, we'll move forward in having the city attorney, I'll give him 60 days to really look into that and come back at our council meeting with a response on if we can create a fund, a fee that's paid, which means that fund will be earmarked to HOA investigations, complaints, if we have to hire a specialized attorney, whatever it is, let's actually build something that's gonna respond to this community and this problem. So I think that's a way that we can move forward as we start to look and we go back up to Tallahassee and we work on opportunities to change and advocate for real change and amendments to our laws that will help us all towards the future have real accountability and transparency in our associations as we do here in the city. So that would be my proposal on this matter, because again, my goal is to provide you guys real results, making sure that you actually get something that's tangible and will solve this problem. And I truly don't think an advisory board is. I'm already doing a huge event that many of you come to, that your boards come to, and that I hope that everybody that's sitting in this room will be at this year. I truly hope, because I think that it's a great opportunity. One more thing that we've been doing as well, and we'll be doing now, is through code compliance, we have provided certifications. So you can actually go and take a free course done by attorneys and get a certification that the board members are required to do, by the way, but it's open to anybody in the public to come and get certifications so you can learn the laws on HOAs and condos and also learn your rights. So it's an actual certification you get provided by attorneys that are certified to do this. We'll be having another one very soon. We've done it a couple times with code compliance. And so I welcome all of our residents to take that course and get more engaged. Those are really the comments that I have. I just took some notes to the things that you all were saying. I think the key here is consistency. And having the DVPR here monthly, which is something that we always envisioned with constituent services, that you can come to and you can reach out to and you know they're gonna be here on a consistent basis. Consistency is gonna be key. So unfortunately, I just haven't seen that from some of our boards. Some of them are great, but it's hard to get residents who are very, very busy and on a volunteer basis to come here and hear complaints from other residents. So I hope that everyone understands that, and I hope to have a support on my motion.
Mayor, I will second the motion.
Thank you, Councilman. Did you have some comments?
No, well, first of all, as I just want to thank everyone that is here, because certainly it's an issue that affects everybody in Doral. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not something new. We have been facing this issue for years. And but at the same time, I do recognize that as a city, especially since we got elected, we have been working on this matter, as the mayor explained. I mean, we not only every time that we go to Tallahassee, but the relationship that we have at the state level, and especially with our state representative, has been something that for the past, especially 3-4 years, has been very significant and has created good changes. at the state level. I know it's not perfect. We still have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of frustrations in between. But I do agree that creating an advisory board certainly would create a full expectation. And that's the part that I'll be concerned as well. Because I think that you guys already as a residents are expecting for us to do the job. We're representing you. Every time that we have the chance, not only as the mayor said, to go to Tallahassee, but to speak to our representative, you are paying us to do that already. So it's not that we don't want you to get involved. I think that you should keep getting involved. I have been participating. I haven't done any on my own as an office because I do participate at the one that the mayor has been hosting for the past. It's going to be the 4 this year, so which is very well attended, and it's true. You have people from all over the place, but the fact that at those particular annual workshops you have state representative, the county, you have everybody that is involved that can really make an action and a change in what we're looking for. It's important for you to participate as well. If you haven't done it, hopefully we see you in September. But as you heard at the end, it's gonna take all of us to work together. We have been doing it. There's more to do, but I like, certainly, I think that what the mayor is proposing really can create a much better, not only communication, understanding, educational resources, but at the same time, you will see a result. Because at the end of the day, advisory boards, we do have great advisory boards, like the Veterans Advisory Board. They do their activities, they host, they provide resources to veterans. So that means that they're giving solutions. And unfortunately, by having an advisory board that pretty much everything is controlled by the state, to provide solutions to the residents coming from the advisory board will be a little bit difficult if we don't get involved. So I commend you for being here today, but believe me, I think that you're in a very good hands with the current administration, and that's why I'm happy to support the amendment presented by the mayor.
Thank you, Councilman.
I do have a comment, Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman Reynoso.
Yes. So I feel that I can recognize the intent of the original item brought by my colleague. However, I feel like it's slightly misleading. We just don't have the authority to truly process and do anything other than just hearing the voices of the residents. Now, last year, one of our state representatives, Juan Carlos Porras, did bring up a bill that had to do with HOA. His House bill was 98-3. And in that bill, he had said he wanted to expand oversight of board elections, increasing financial transparency, strengthening recall procedures, and enhancing protections for the homeowners. And even so, the only authority that we had here as a council was to support a bill that was already trying to be passed at the state level.
And didn't pass.
And it didn't pass. And he tried again, and it didn't pass. So I'm only saying this to kind of have some type of guideline as to the limitations of how far our voices can go, essentially how far the residents' voices can go into effectuating change based on current situations within the community. So essentially, all we can continue to do is hear what is happening at certain HOAs, continue to advocate to the state in hopes that they will produce a bill that will be accepted by both the House and the Senate and passed as law to hopefully change what is happening truly within HOAs. As a city, we also, like the mayor has stated, within our police department, if there are strong enough cases being brought by the different HOAs or condominium associations, right? There's a good factual base. The residents within that community have come with different backup to maybe an issue that is happening in their community. The police can continue to investigate that issue once the HOA or the residents within the HOA in the condominium associations have done their part providing the facts. So those are the different things that are happening. What I don't want to approve is a soundboard, a space where everybody's going to come to complain and there's not going to be anything that the city can truly do. We're aware, because we do listen to the things that our residents tell us that's our job. We're aware of the issues that are happening, and we do advocate for the residents in every opportunity that we can. But these are truly the limitations that you have from your city council. So I don't want to give false expectations to the residents. And that's why I do back up, let's say, for example, the workshop opportunities that we have. And also, there are legal counsels that dedicate themselves to the difficult to explain and the task that is HOA law and condominium law. And those are really the resources that are available to the residents. Again, whenever there is something that we can do for all of you, that's what we do. But definitely, I'm not going to sit here and try to give an avenue that is not really going to resolve anything. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the last thing we want to do is create another layer of bureaucracy. And truthfully, I think that's what would be caused with an advisory board. It's just another layer of some other board that has no authority. Well, that's what we're here for. That's what you elect us for. So you guys come here and complain to us, and we do what we can to support you. So I think my motion has a second. I want to make sure administration is clear on what we're looking into. Mr. City Attorney, would you like to add anything?
No, very clear.
Clear? Okay. I think that this may give us some type of avenue, and I'm not even sure yet. We're going to have him. The motion is for him to go and investigate to create a fund and a fee. The associations will have to pay into yearly, almost like a BTR, that will hopefully grow over time, that will help the city pay in the case that we get a complaint that can be pursued. Fair? So I think that may be the only avenue we have to be able to create a real opportunity that will pursue a case. Otherwise, there's not much that can be done. However, I think what happens in many of these circumstances is that the residents' hands are tied because it costs money to pursue, wrongdoings. You have to go in and get an investigator. You have to pay for public records. You have to do all these things to find out if your HOA is acting in good faith or not. Now, let me also be clear. In many cases we have seen, unfortunately, through the police department, is that people come with all this evidence. Look, they're stealing. And the truth is they're not. Just because your association decided to go with a more expensive insurance, it's not illegal. They're elected to make that decision. Now, you don't agree with it, vote them out. But it's not illegal for them to choose a higher insurance that you have to pay more for. That's their choice. So a lot of times I find myself explaining that to residents, is that they come with all this information saying, look, they're stealing. And unfortunately, it's not a theft. It's not a illegal act, although we may disagree with it. At that point, it's important to have the community get together and recall, get involved, join the board, all things that require a lot of time and effort, but it can be done. So we'll continue to host the workshops. We'll continue to provide the free certifications through the attorneys that give us pro bono time. We're going to be doing that very soon. DVPR will start being here once a month. These are all our commitments to you right now. Because I'm hearing you, this is what our response is. We've already been working on these things, and we will continue to do it. If you have a current case with proven evidence, please make sure to go see the police department. They will take you, they will take your case, they will look into it, and they will do their best to bring it to justice if there is proven wrongdoings. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and look into if we can create some type of fund to create another opportunity to pursue wrongdoings, and we'll continue to lobby in Tallahassee so that these changes happen. I really encourage all of you to come to the events I do once a year. The legislators are there. The representatives are there. If you have something currently, email it to us. I will make sure that office gets it. I will make sure the legislators in Tallahassee get it and that they see what we're all suffering. so that your voices are continued to be transmitted to the right people that make those decisions. Pay attention to those elections. They're important as they are the ones here in our city. So I want to thank you all for being here today. If there's no additional comments, we'll go ahead and have the
I
manager
have
call.
some comments.
Oh, go ahead.
So everyone here is, I think everyone here is part of the board. Some, right? Okay, so, coming in here, offering an opportunity to be part of the solutions that are being mentioned, and I think they're great, by the way. I think that it's definitely good work that the city is doing. I think the advisory board was to have better participation and organized participation. And all of you guys being part of a board, you are coming here and now hearing that you guys are going to be charged more fees. That is not a solution. I mean, I'm very sorry. I know that, it's well intended, and I think that yes, there is fraud being committed, but I didn't intend for you guys to be charged an extra fee coming out of here, by the way. I don't know if it's actually doable. I would not support the attorney looking into charging HOAs and associations more fees than what you already have. That's not the intention. The other thing is, I'm going to name all the advisory boards that we have, okay? Citizens Audit Advisory Board, Commission on the Status of Women, Doral Parks Bond, Economic Development, Environmental, Faith, Military, Parks and Culture Advisory Board, Police, Special Needs, Youth Civic Committee. They're important, but I think a very important one is missing, this one. If this wasn't important, and if these issues were not important, there wouldn't be an advisory board. This is a way for the residents to directly participate in all of most of the solutions that I agree with that have been said today, and we can continue doing them. But again, not having a structure, not having a resident-led, organized group that can actually be, I don't want to call it liaison, but be the communicators. We're just back to where we have always been, because everything that's been said that are solutions have been happening for years, and we're still not where we want to be, right? So I think we should definitely try something new. I think this is a good way to have residents engage in even more, come to these meetings, come to the workshops, because you guys are going to go out and deliver the message. You're going to communicate. You're going to multiply the people. I mean, we've tried it. We've done it. We're doing it, apparently, and we're still doing it. So obviously, as you guys can tell, the will of the council is not to create the board. I do regret that. But again, I'm not going to support looking into tacking on additional fees to the HOAs. So with that, again, I'm sorry, and we can't speak anymore. I'm sorry. That's not allowed. And so, again, thank you guys for being here. And I'm glad that you guys voiced your opinion on it. Thank you.
So just to clarify a couple things, all the boards that were discussed, we're actually currently looking at consolidation, because Madam Clerk, how is the issue with attendance? How many times do the boards really meet?
Yeah, they have, it has a very low turnout. They have a hard time getting quorum and having people showing up, and
staff has to stay overtime
Correct.
and be able to, so
Correct.
we're currently in the process of consolidating our boards. There's actually an item that will be coming forward. We're letting them finish up this year. There's elections in November, so the boards will change again. So once that happens, we will actually be consolidating boards, because they just don't meet. It's hard. It's a volunteer basis. So it's a very, it's a commendable thing to do, but it's unfortunate that they just don't meet. So it really, again, creates another layer that is not, doesn't result in anything. Secondly, the purpose is not to create a new fee. The companies that run your associations already pay a BTR fee. So the idea would be, and again, that's why we're not voting to create any fee. We are asking the city attorney to look into creating a real solution that would allow the city to have a fund that would not be used for us. It's used for you all to be able to come and be able to tap into if everybody is feeding into it in case there's a situation that you really want to be able to. There's a BTR fee that is paid every year. Wait, you can't. BTR is a business tax receipt. Every business has to pay for it. Every business pays a business tax receipt in our city. So
Who's paying that fee? My homeowners?
no, the fee, and again, that's you. So we are not supposed to. Can't speak from the audience, but so that's what the city attorney will go look into. It would basically be a BTR, is the association as a business would have to get it like a license, right? So it's a registration. It's a registry. It's a license. Those licenses cost $60, $120 a year. It's not. I'm not talking thousands of dollars. It creates a registry and a fee to be able to tap into it, because at the end of the day, this is not a city, it's not something the city falls under our jurisdiction, right? So there's not a specific person in the city, there's not a attorney with that specification in the city, which means we would have to go out and get this. Many times there are attorneys that will do things pro bono. Again, we see them every year at our condo expo. The attorneys come, they give their free time, they give free consultations, all these things. But it all costs money and time and expertise. So the idea, and again, it's something that occurred to me as we were sitting here talking about it, is what can we actually do? Create a registry, create a fund that the residents can tap into. We're not talking thousands of dollars. The communities, the CAM holders, the businesses that you all hire to run your associations, right? You all have management companies. Those management companies have to pay BTRs, business tax receipts. So basically, it can be like a business tax receipt for the HOA that creates this fund. Again, we're not talking thousands of dollars. Our business tax receipts are $60, $120, and that will create a fund that we can tap into to be able to find a solution for the HOAs. Right now, I think your best solution for many of you that may have certain situations is that if you have real fraud going on, you have a real case, is to go to the police department so that you can have them investigate. Other than that, the person who, or the agency that investigates licensed individuals, like CAM individuals, is the DBPR, okay? So I understand a lot of us don't agree with decisions that are being made within our HOAs, but doesn't mean that they're illegal. It means you have to change your board. So again, we're gonna work with the elections department. The elections department will oversee elections of HOAs so that there's an oversight committee, there's an audit of them. I hear a lot about fraud on HOA elections and things like that, ballots that are signed by other people. So I think that those are real opportunities to provide more oversight. But sitting here and saying that a board that is gonna be engaged, by the way, the board is made up of 5 people. It's not like all of you could be on the board. It's 5 people that are part of the board. So if you don't have quorum, the board can't meet, which means if 3 people are not there, the board can't even meet. So there's a lot of nuances that go into these boards that at the end of the day, it's gonna come right back to us and we're gonna sit here and say, well, there's not much that we can do. We're already doing the things that are being proposed, which is workshops, education. So all we can do is create another opportunity, which our city attorney is gonna look into, that there is a dedicated person in the city that can investigate or look into some of these things. But that's gonna cost money. That's gonna cost the city money. And we have to see if we even have the authority to do it. So we have a motion on the table. We'll come back in 60 days, give them some time to look into it, come with a proposal. You're all welcome to come back to that meeting with that proposal. Nobody's looking at charging thousands of dollars that it's gonna cost you. The idea is to provide something that's really going to give you results. Because the truth is that another advisory board of residents is just not the answer. It's not the answer. We're gonna end up here again and with more frustrated people, because you're gonna have those who are appointed to the boards who are doing it on full voluntary time, listening to more complaints and more frustration that they just can't answer to because they don't have the authority to. So let's create some type of authority to be able to look more into these issues. Other than that, there's not enough authority on the city side to be able to pursue some of these matters. I really wish they would delegate more authority to the local electeds through our code compliance departments, through police, to be able to pursue them, but we just don't have those answers or those abilities at this time. With that, we'll ask clerk to please call the motion, and in 60 days, we'll have another discussion about what opportunities or avenues there is to pursue.
Have a motion to direct the city attorney to look into HOA and condo registry and fees and bring the item back in 60 days, made by Mayor Fraga, seconded by Councilman Pinedo. Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Porras?
No.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item. We have 2 items left, 3 items.
First reading, item 28, ordinance number 2026-06, amending Chapter 26, Article 3, shopping carts. An ordinance of the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Doral, Florida, amending Chapter 26, Article 3, shopping carts, providing for implementation, incorporation to the code, incorporation of recitals, severability, and an effective date.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open up for public comments on item 266591, or also known as 20A. Anyone who would like to speak on this item and this item alone, please approach the podium. Being none, public comments is now closed. Madam Clerk, at the record reflect no one has chosen to speak at this time. Mr. Del Toro.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Danny Del Toro, Code Compliance Director. IT, there's a presentation. All right, the Code Compliance Department is recommending this ordinance amendment to create a more efficient enforcement process for shopping carts left on public property. As written today, the code requires our department to store carts for a period of 5 days before allowing civil citations to be issued, and it does not require businesses to have control measures for those carts. Due to the lack of storage space, it's been a department practice to remove and return the carts to businesses without penalty, basically providing a free service to maintain the cleanliness of the city. As you see on the chart there, we do a good amount of cases throughout the year. So this amendment will have the 2 key changes we're proposing are to make requirements for the business to install cart disabling devices, and secondly, to remove the storage burden from the city. With these 2 changes, we anticipate being able to hold businesses accountable for maintaining carts on their property. We foresee a reduction of the carts on public property, and for those carts that are left on public property, we would be able to do enforcement immediately without needing to store carts anywhere in the city. And finally, it'll free up officer time to address more serious violations. There will be an outreach period for the businesses of 2 months with an effective date of August 3rd for voluntary compliance.
Okay, any questions?
I do, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay. So currently, we're not charging to recuperate the carts,
No, we're just returning them.
right? And it's an involvement that the city is having with these businesses. Okay. And now we're going to create a code to charge for the service of returning the carts.
Well, the codexes, we're just amending it to require them to have some type of device to keep the carts on their own property.
Okay.
Yes.
Some of them have it.
Yes.
Already.
They do. But but we're also adding that if we do recuperate the carts, the city is now going to be able to charge for that service.
Not charge, issue a citation for the violation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but some form of monetary compensation for the time that it's taken the city to essentially do another business's job.
Some type of cost recovery, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Motion.
motion to approve.
That's great.
Yes,
Second.
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call a roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-06 on first reading, made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we will move on to the next item.
Item 20B, ordinance number 2026-08, no hourly room rental signage. An ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, amending chapter 80, article 7, human trafficking signs, creating section 80-326, no hourly room rentals public awareness signs, providing for implementation, incorporation into the code, incorporation of recital, servability, and an effective date.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open up public comments for item 20B, also known as 26-6603. Anyone who would like to speak on this item, please approach the podium. Being none, public comments is now closed. Madam Clerk, please let the record reflect no one has chosen to speak at this time. Danny? City Attorney?
So this is an item that I worked with Mr. Del Toro. It's basically codifying the resolution that, with the instructions for us to create the no human trafficking signs that follows Florida statute. And now it's part of our code, and it's a requirement for all hotels to have it, and it creates a penalty if they don't. Did I miss anything, Mr. Del Toro?
No, and there will also be an outreach where the approved sign will be delivered to all these establishments for simple compliance.
All right. Sounds good. This is going off of Councilwoman Reynoso's item from last month.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-08 on first reading, made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, we move on to the second reading, item 20C.
Second reading, item 20C, ordinance number 2026-05, fiscal year 25-26 budget amendment, an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, providing for an amendment to the general fund budget for fiscal year 25-26 and the capital improvement fund budget for fiscal year 25-26 as reviewed, modified, and approved by the city council at the meetings held on April 8th, 2026 and May 13, 2026, providing for transmittal by the city clerk, implementation, severability, conflicts, and an effective date. This was approved on first reading on April 8th.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open up public comments. Public comments now open for item 20C, also known as 26-6552. Anyone would like to speak, please approach the podium. All right, being none, public comments now closed. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect no one has chosen to speak at this time.
She's good.
Yes, good evening, Mayor. I just wanted to state there are no changes between first and second reading.
All right, there's no changes.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo, second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve ordinance number 2026-05 on second reading, made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, motion passed. This is exhausted our agenda. Motion to?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Reynoso.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Pinedo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. We'll see you all on June 10th. Thank you very much.